This is remarkable. This is not clickbait. This is not sensationalism. What is taking place right now in this country is remarkable, as evidenced by the screaming match that just took place inside the Oval Office between the President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, and the President of Ukraine. A man who is pleading for the salvation of his people, who after an invasion, pregnant women and children murdered by Russian troops. And he's there to plead for assistance. And we've got our president, the abject piece of shit, Donald Trump, telling him, don't tell us how to think. Don't tell us how to feel about stuff, while Americans are safe in their beds. And Zelensky's people fear for their lives on a daily basis. And the unmitigated gall of Pumpkinhead J.D. Vance to tell him, well, maybe you should be more thankful. You haven't said thanks one time since you've been here, because that's what it's all about. Let's watch about 1 minute and 20 seconds before we get into Donald Trump and the screaming match that took place. Watch this insanity.
He broke this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring people, you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
So J.D. Vance knows more about the war in Ukraine than the man who's lived through it. That's what he says. Why don't you be more thankful, he says. Don't try to come here and litigate this in front of the American media. Then why are the media there, J.D. Vance? Why did you invite the press in there to grill him about whether or not he wears a suit? A clip you're not going to see here. You could look for it. Why are they there, if not for the media opportunity for you and Donald Trump? Dipshit. It gets worse. Believe it or not, it gets worse with Donald Trump there. We're going to go back a few seconds to give you the continuity here of Donald Trump telling him, ordering him, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, don't tell us how to think. Don't tell us how to feel about this. Disgusting. Watch this.
But you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. But right now, you don't. Yeah, you're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you, far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you can...
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I answer?
Wait a minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and your
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
Yes. What about West?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times thank you to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong.
First of all, he's not wrong. You're wrong, J.D. Vance. You traitorous trash. Donald Trump is wrong like he is about everything. They let their mask slip, though. They let you know what this is exactly about. This is about the campaigning for the opposition. This is political for them as they side with Americans' enemy, with a hostile foreign power, an aggressor, an invader of a sovereign country. We are now, in the United States, subject to this totalitarian nonsense, this cozying up with abject like Vladimir Putin. And who's doing it? A like Donald Trump. Another J.D. Vance, who want to turn this country into a Russia-like existence where we don't have the freedom of speech, where they sick prosecutors on people like me who exercise his First Amendment right under the Constitution of the United States to say what he wants relative to politics, for sure, and to redress his government, which is now siding with dictators, with genocidal monsters, against someone like Volodymyr Zelenskyy, who's just trying to save his people, just trying to save his country. I hope there are people out there who are elected to office. One, my hope is that there will be Republicans out there who will wake the fuck up to what is taking place. That their man, who just declared himself a king via post, the White House post on Twitter, who said he wants to terminate the Constitution, who said he'd be a dictator on day one, who attacked the United States Capitol with his private little mercenary army attempting to overthrow the United States government by way of overturning a free and fair election. He wants to turn this country into an invader like Russia. He wants a man like Volodymyr Zelenskyy under thumb. The problem for one and number two, Trump and J.D. Vance, is that a man like Volodymyr Zelenskyy isn't the coward they are. He's not the wilting, insecure violet that they are. And I don't believe that the American people are either. I believe there is a lot of uprising to be done. We witness across the globe different countries and their reaction to authoritarianism. Brazil, not putting up with Bolsonaro's nonsense. South Korea, the declaration of martial law, where the opposition party, our opposition party, if we had one, could learn a thing or two. Where elected members of their parliament, of their assembly, are grabbing the muzzles of special forces weapons and telling them no. That's the spirit you see in Volodymyr Zelenskyy. It is not the spirit that you see in pumpkin-headed J.D. Vance or the physical coward and mental weakling Donald Trump. And leaders in the world are starting to wake up to it. You had Emmanuel Macron do an instant fact check on Donald Trump in the Oval Office. Yesterday, you had Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, fact-check J.D. Vance in real time. And now, Volodymyr Zelenskyy getting into a screaming match, or he's calm and composed. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are screaming at him, "You should be more thankful." To be more thankful for what? J.D. Vance and Donald Trump? For the assistance given by the previous administration or the sabotage that is currently underway by yours? What should he be fucking thankful for? What do you think? I hope you're as angry as me about this shit, because this reflects on you. If you travel internationally, if you go anywhere, people look sideways at Americans, and it's because of shit like this. If you go, you need to travel with a shirt that just says not a Trump voter. Anyway, what do you think? Comment below. You can call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me as always daily at dollemore.com. I do want to hear from you. Look, there's a whole bunch more here. This went on for several more minutes. The result of which is Donald Trump canceling their press conference because he's so weak. He's such a fucking weakling, a coward. He can't handle the heat. He can't handle the pressure because he knows he's wrong. He knows he's on the wrong side of this particular issue and certainly on the wrong side of history. I'm going to go. Have a great weekend. Be genuine. Take care of one another.